Hello, I'm Wally Haas. I'm your host for Rockford on the Record, and with me today is Rockford Mayor Tom McNamara, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Civilian Oversight Board, which was actually the board was voted into place a year ago, and now you finally have members of this board, a seven-person board. So what exactly do you hope to get out of this?
So I think broadly with the Civilian Oversight Board is a couple of things. We certainly want to be more transparent to the citizens of Rockford. When we did listening sessions, we heard folks say, well, I may have submitted a complaint and I didn't know where that went and what that process was it investigated, how thorough of an investigation. So I think being more transparent, outlining what that process is, having civilians be part of it. Secondly, our police department does wonderful work and they do incredibly thorough investigations. Every single complaint is reviewed. And I think this board will also, as kind of a secondary benefit, help educate the public on what those processes are, how thorough they are, and some of the outcomes of those processes.
So you're thinking that this board is going to help increase trust in the police department and in the processes that they have to go through?
Yeah, and I think that the final ultimate goal is yes. From the transparency, the education, and knowledge will be trust. And we hope that that trust and builds upon much of the other work, the community policing work and things of that nature that our department has done, so that we have long-lasting relationships and have a free flow of information between the police and the citizens.
Okay. Now the board, the 7 members of the board, how were they selected?
Yeah, so we did a public call for citizens, and we were fortunate. We had nearly 50 applicants from across our community, and we narrowed that down to about 12 to 15. Then 6 of us interviewed all of those applicants. And when we asked for them to apply, we asked for their cover letter and their resume. And so then we did those one-on 6 interviews. And we selected the 7 that we have. And I couldn't be more proud of the 7 that we have. 1, which is pretty neat, they live in 7 different wards of the city of Rockford. So they're geographically spread throughout our community. 2, I think the diversity of them from political leanings to their ethnicity are also diverse and represent Rockford. And I just say you look at what we have. We have owners of private businesses, we have executives of nonprofits, we have entrepreneurs, and we have lawyers. It's really a wonderful conglomeration of citizens to be on this first inaugural board.
Well, how often will they meet and what kind of issues will they be discussing?
So they'll meet initially monthly, and they will review all citizen complaints that come into the police department. And citizens right now can complain about our police department. They also can provide compliments by going into any of the 3 districts' police stations or doing it online. If you do it online, you also can be anonymous. And so they'll review that, and then they'll review a vast majority of the number of the use of force complaints that we have against our police department.
Okay, it's not going to be an easy job.
It isn't. It's going to be a very thorough job, and I would say the one thing we haven't touched on, Wally, is to get these 7 members up to speed, there's a lot of training. So they're going to be trained in use force science. They're going to be doing ride-alongs with a number of police officers. They're going to have to review our general orders and our use of force policy. They're going to have to go through the 8-week Citizen Police Academy. There's a lot of training. So yes, we've named them. Now we're preparing their training schedule, and then they'll start reviewing these complaints.
It sounds like a full-time job.
It's going to be a busy job, and we've reiterated that in the interviews that we need people who are really committed to it, and I think we have 7 really wonderful people.
Well, hats off to them. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and that's it for this episode of Rockford on the Record.